Before I can tell you about my experience in education and what my goals are once I finish my PhD, I need to give you a little glimpse into the world of my life. So this is Retta Salerno, the story of my life. Not everyone's life begins like mine. In February of 1987, I was placed in foster care. On February 17, 1987, I was placed in the home of two of the most influential people of my life. It was then that I had the opportunity to have my second chance. I went from wanting everything to not having to want anything else in my life. I flourished in school and as a human being. In April of 1989, I was adopted with two of my biological sisters and proudly became a Salerno. No matter how old we became, we were always still Daddy's little girls. As we became older and boys came around, just like every father before mine, Daddy became a gunslinger of the Wild Wild West. Even though I was a girl, I was the son that my dad never had. No matter what we did it together. That includes working on cars. Even though I became my dad's shadow, I still was a girl underneath, and that includes standing next to your dad on prom night. In June of 1999, I graduated from Saugerties High School. Growing up, I always wanted to be a pharmacist. The first summer after I graduated high school, I got my first job. Because I wanted to be a pharmacist, I decided to work in the pharmacy at CVS. My goal after graduation was to go to the Albany College of Pharmacy. However, my parents recommended that I first try out my first semester before declaring my major. I hate to say it, but they were right. In the fall of 1999, I began courses at the College of St. Rose in Albany, New York. Good thing I didn't declare my major, because I decided that chemistry was not my friend. So my goals of becoming a pharmacist were no more, and I needed to find out exactly what I wanted to do with my life. So I returned home to find out what I really wanted to do with my life. I need to think of my strengths and weaknesses and find out what I would excel at. I knew I wanted to be in a field of mathematics. I was tutoring at the time and knew I excelled at breaking down concepts and reteaching them. This is when I decided to become an educator. So I enrolled in SUNY New Paltz and began my new path of becoming a secondary education mathematics teacher. Then, in May of 2004, I graduated and became a secondary education mathematics teacher. In September 2004, I became the 7th and 8th grade mathematics teacher at Hudson Junior High School in Hudson, New York. Then, in March of 2007, I became severely ill and was forced to take a medical leave of absence. It was then that I was diagnosed with lupus and Crohn's disease, but I refused to let that break me. The following year, I returned to the classroom. However, I returned and became a member of the supportive staff. I began helping students as an academic intervention service teacher of the 7th and 8th grade mathematics classrooms. In 2009, I began online courses at Walden University. In 2010, I graduated with a master's in education, with my focus being on the integration of technology in the classroom. Then, in 2012, I lost the most influential person in my life. He was my rock and my strength when it came to my education. After the death of my father, I shut down. I quit my job and practically stayed in my bed for a full year. Because I was so depressed from losing my father, my mom thought it was best if I had a new best friend. Now, by no means did my dog Justice replace my dad, but it made me smile again. Justice took up all of my time. I was with her night and day, and if I was sleeping, she made sure to wake me up by sleeping directly on my chest. Because I wasn't working, I had a lot of time on my hands. So, I returned to something that always made me smile, and that was painting. When I decided to become an educator, my goal was always to be a teacher on the collegiate level. When I began SUNY New Paltz, my mentor, Dr. Elaine Hofstetter, showed me what I could be one day. She was stern, but always made learning fun. So I decided to enroll at the University of Phoenix. The program I decided to enroll in was a PhD in Educational Technology and Educational Leadership. In April 2013, I went to my first residency in Nashville, Tennessee. It was these individuals that showed me that even though I don't have my father, I still had the drive and the focus and the aspiration of becoming an educational doctor. My primary goal after graduation is to teach future teachers how to use technology in the classroom. I want to make sure that students receive a well-rounded education. Before I'm able to help future teachers, I first need to tackle the task of writing my dissertation. I knew I wanted a topic that focused on the integration of technology. However, I wasn't sure exactly how I was going to tackle it. Nowadays, children are using video games everywhere, and my goal is to find out if the use of video games helps students' retention of the subject content. My primary question is to find out if students are using technology in the classroom, if it's helping or hindering their performance. My research includes the use of GlassLab.com games. The video game will assess the student's understanding of mathematics and science. Students will either be using the game to learn subject content, or they will be taught the subject content in the traditional classroom format. Using this data will help me better assess if the video game technology is effective in today's classroom. Are students really retaining the subject content after the use of the game, or is the game just keeping them busy during that class? I thank you for listening to the story of my life, and I leave you with one simple message.